Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Freshman and Transfer Mentor Program information session. My name is Derek Jackson. It's great to see everyone here today to learn how you can become a mentor for incoming freshmen and transfer students. We think that you will be wonderful mentors, and we're so glad that you are checking us out this afternoon to get more information. So just jumping straight into it, I would like to introduce my wonderful colleagues. We have Rebecca Benfield joining us. And without further ado, I would just like to turn it right over to Rebecca. Rebecca, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. We also have Hilary Freeman with us today. So she and I will kind of be jumping back and forth as we present. Hilary, do you want to say hi?
Hello, I'm excited to be here with you guys. Get to talk to you a little bit about what we do.
Yay, this is really all we do. Just kidding. Hilary does some other stuff, but I do mostly the program, the freshman program. So we'll be excited to share. So I guess we can just go ahead and get started. It's funny for me because I can't see the presentation on Teams. I just see everyone's hidden faces, which is sad, but I also understand. So we'll just get started. Hi, there's Robert. He'll come and talk to us about SLT or just about being in the program in a little bit. So I'll go ahead and get us started. Like Robert said, my name is Rebecca Benfield. I've been working with the Freshman and Transfer Mentor Program since November of 2018. And before that, I worked in admissions at UTD. So it's been kind of fun. I worked specifically with transfer admissions. It was fun to see some of our transfer students come over from the Dallas County community colleges and then be in the program when I switched over. So I worked in admissions for about two and a half years and then came over here. But transferring is my real, or not transferring, but mentoring is really my passion. So it's been really fun to have that change. Let's see if I can get this presentation to move over. Next. There we go. So here's a quick overview of what we're going to talk about. This picture is actually our little mentor room. We have a mentor room on campus, which we miss dearly. Kind of close to the HPAC and pre-law study room. It's right around the corner where we do all of our trainings. USS may have used it a couple of times, but we'll talk about why we have a mentor program, who we are, what we do, what we expect, why mentor, how to get involved, and then we'll have some times for question and answers. And if you see me looking over to the side, it's because I have two screens and the presentation is on my screen, so on my other screen. So sorry if you see me looking away. And also I feel like I have to warn that I have a little pup who's 2 years old and he likes to bark sometimes. So he has been known to scare students and me in the middle of sessions, so I apologize if he does that. But I'll let you guys know that that is a possibility that he will make an appearance in some way. So over the years, before I show you that presentation, our director, Hilary Campbell, has been with the university for a really long time. And Hilary Freeman has been with the program a few years longer than me. But we just really saw a need for mentorship. We know from our own personal experience and also working with students over the years that transitioning into a new life space is really, really difficult. And we all have different struggles. Some of us do great in the transition and some of us do really poorly, which is me. I'm not great with change and transition. I always think like, this is going to be easy, no big deal. And then I'm going through it and I'm like, oh, this is actually really hard. And there's a lot of things I didn't even think about. And that was me for sure going into college as a freshman. So we like to ask our students lots of questions, ask them about their experience. So we'll share with you some quotes that our students have shared. And these really are just representative of why we have a mentor program, why we have mentors who step up to help other mentees transfer or come in as freshmen. So a lot of our students experience loneliness their first semester. That was something I experienced as a freshman, going to a school out of state and not really knowing how to make friends. So this student talked about being in a new city. They didn't know anyone or have family close by. So it can just be difficult to transition from a familiar place. Maybe if you grew up in the same place forever, like I did, my parents have never moved. Going to a new place and trying to figure out how to make friends and find your place on campus is really difficult. And so we have found that mentorship is really helpful in helping students find their place. This is specifically from a transfer student, but saying that they felt like a stranger on campus. We know transfer students have specific difficulties when it feels like your classmates have already been there for a year and know each other, but even other students that come to the university, maybe from a small town, or maybe they're first generation, or maybe they just feel like they don't know what they're doing. They feel like an imposter. So they feel like a stranger on campus. A lot of times our students need help figuring out how to do things at the university. They don't know what registrar means. They don't know what a provost is. They've never had to register for their own classes before. So just, or figuring out how to get involved on campus. So just those steps of figuring out how to just do college. A lot of students need help there. This student talks about having a mixture of emotions for their first year at UTD, and they had a lot of overwhelming emotions. So even if we're going through the motions of class and involvement and work, there can be a lot of stuff going on internally that's overwhelming that we may not really know how to deal with or even acknowledge. And then some of our students have talked about coming to UTD, they want to learn about themselves, get back to the school, and grow up to be more responsible as an individual. And so we feel that our mentoring programs have been able to help our students in a lot of different ways, not just academic, but also socially, personally, and things like that. And our students also want to be able to come to UTD, build relationships and connections that matter, and find a way to engage on campus, learn more about themselves, create a campus legacy. And a lot of times that can be difficult to figure out how to go about doing that. So again, mentorship can help students in that way. So hopefully with all of those quotes, you can just get an idea of what our students are facing. Maybe as I'm talking about those things, you're like, yeah, that was me when I first came to UTD as a freshman or as a transfer student. And so we have found that mentorship can help students through that transition, because our students face a lot of different things that are challenging when we transition into a new environment. So there's me on the presentation. That was like my first week of my job a few years ago at one of our events. But anyways, so we feel like our mission statement feeds into the overall UT Dallas mission statement. So here, the UTD mission talks about we want to provide the state of Texas and the nation with excellent, innovative education and research, but the university is also committed to graduating well-rounded citizens whose education has prepared them for rewarding lives and productive careers in a constantly changing world. And we feel like the mentor program helps our students find their footing to continue to develop as a student at UTD, where they go into the world. So the mission of our programs, we have the two programs, the freshman mentor program and the transfer mentor program, which we'll talk about more about what each program is and why there's a difference between those two groups of people. But our program's mission is to cultivate an environment of student leadership through mentoring that assists freshmen and transfer students with the transition to college life and fosters a strong sense of belonging through academic engagement, social involvement, and community service. So ultimately, we want our students to feel like they belong at UTD. We want to help students in their transition. Like I've been saying, the last 10 minutes or so I've been talking, transitions are difficult. And so why not have someone who's already been through the transition helping these students through their own transition and helping them find their place on campus? Because we found when students are engaged on campus, they feel like they belong on campus. They do better in classes, and they just have an overall better experience at the university. I believe, Hillary, is it your turn yet? I'm trying to remember.
It can be. It's fine.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me? If you can't hear me, just raise your hand or something. Okay, I got a thumbs up. I don't know what that is. That's fancy. Okay, so I don't know if y'all can hear. I have a little one here with me, and she is unhappy at the moment. So I hope that that's okay with everybody. So one of the things we took all of this information that we had talked to students who had been to this transition at UTD, and we first discovered that there was an opportunity for students to help students here, but also that freshmen and transfers have very different experiences, and it wasn't going to be a one-size-fits-all type of situation. So the first one that came along was the freshman mentor program, and that was in 2012. So that was the first year. And that was started with a very small group of mentors and mentees, just 70 and 70. And they were all AES students. So a little bit of a different situation than now, because now we are open to every student at UT Dallas. So, or every, I guess, the freshman mentor program is not open to, or is open to any major, any scholarship situation, any background. It's a very generalized program. And so now we have gone from having 70 students and 70 and 70 to 485 mentors and 490 mentees. So it's a very large program. And we'll talk a little bit more about how making it more individualized works as we talk about kind of the expectations of mentors. The Transfer Mentor Program is a little bit newer to the group. This was just started in 2017. And this is actually to support transfer students specifically. So we found that students who come in from another university already have some of the information that maybe a traditional freshman wouldn't have, but they also miss out on some of those opportunities like the longer orientation session. So transfer orientation is not 3 days, it's only 1 day. And they don't always get weeks of welcome because a lot of transfer students come in during the spring. And so the program was started to support transfer students. And we started with 20 mentors and 20 mentees. And then now this year we had 102 mentors and 123 mentees. So not bad for 3 years work. So, okay. All right. So here's the overview of what you will be doing as a mentor and what your mentees can expect. So first, mentors grow their leadership skills, and we're going to talk about this actually on the next slide a little bit more. One of the bigger, I guess, benefits of this is that we do provide service hours. So if you are a transfer or in the freshman mentor program, you can earn service hours for the time that you commit to your mentee and to the programs. You also learn the art of mentorship. So we don't want the mentoring to be kind of a one and done thing. You know, you did it 1 year at UTD and that's it. We really want to make mentorship something that you carry through with you to your professional life. So post UTD or research or whatever your plan is. So that's what mentors generally can expect from a year of mentoring and more. Mentees, they receive that one-on-one guide for their first year. So they have a hand to hold, somebody to point them in the right direction as they go through this first year in this transition. Next slide. Okay, so Rebecca touched on this a little bit, but this shared experience. So those quotes that we talked about at the beginning of the presentation, we picked those quotes because they kind of highlighted the themes that we saw. So we saw people who felt like they didn't really have a friend on campus. We saw people unable to navigate campus. And so one of the things is you all have experienced some of these challenges, maybe all of them, maybe only 1 or 2 of them, but you have been through this. And so whether you had a mentor yourself who helped you, and maybe you just want to pay it forward. So having somebody that you can help kind of because you were helped or because you did it alone and you don't want somebody else to have to do that. And so we all kind of meet in these mentor programs with our own philosophy about why we're doing it, but this shared experience, this shared transitional experience. Leadership development. So like I said, we don't want this to be a one and done situation, but oftentimes this is a good kind of testing out your leadership at UT Dallas because this is a one-to-one program. It allows you that opportunity to develop as a leader, kind of that stepping stone before you maybe want to pursue an officer position or a SWAB position. And so this provides that opportunity to develop yourself as a leader because we offer pretty comprehensive training. So Rebecca is going to talk a little bit about kind of what the ins and outs look like of our training, but it's pretty thorough. We are also certified by the International IMPTC, and forgetting what that stands for, but it's a third-party certification for our mentors. And so we follow pretty thorough training for all of our mentors. So you step away not only with this experience that you can apply to different leadership positions, but also a nice little certification if you should choose to pursue that. Campus connection. So you're already connected on campus because you are part of the Cultural Scholars Program, but we offer a little bit more of that. So Hilary Campbell, our director, oversees Comet Sense and Comet Cupboard, as well as she and I work together with undergraduate research at UT Dallas. And also opportunities that come up, we go to our mentors first. So whenever we hear about, a panel, somebody needs students for a panel, we're going to look to our mentors because we know this group and we know their backgrounds. For example, in the fall, we had an opportunity for a student to meet with President Benson, and the first group we thought of was our mentors, and we reached out to our mentors to see if they wanted that opportunity. And so this is just that's a good example of the kind of campus connections you can expect through participation in our program. Service, we talked about that. So not only can you get the service hours, which is a nice little thing, we can sign off on that for you, but also you get to serve the UT Dallas community. And that helps based on the data that we have, not only helps your mentee, but will help you feel more connected to UT Dallas as well. Tangibles. So I saw Robert had hopped on here too, but we're wearing the same t-shirt. You get these super nice t-shirts. Yeah. And they're fancy. They're not like the, like rough cotton or anything. We really go high tone here. So we have t-shirts. We give out cords to our mentors who graduate. So it's a really pretty silver and teal cord that you can get. When we are on campus, we have really solid food. Food is something we pride ourselves on. We're not just throwing, Little Caesars pizza at anybody, but at our events, we tend to do it up. So there are some tangible benefits as well. And then monthly progress reports and check-ins. So like I said, we do provide that training, but we also provide support as you go. So as you're developing as a leader, as you're starting this mentoring process, we're not expecting you to be perfect. And I think that's something that I really want to emphasize is you do not have to come to being a mentor knowing it all. We're going to help you get there. We're going to provide that training on campus resources so you know what types of things are available. We're going to help you in figuring out how to have conversations with your mentee that can be more productive. We're going to help you figure out what kind of leader you are. You don't need to come with all of this background of leadership and experience. Like I said, this is a perfect thing to kind of dip your toe into leadership if you haven't before. And with that, we provide these monthly progress reports, and so that we can check in on that stuff. So how are you experiencing this mentorship? How is your mentee experiencing this mentorship? We ask for reports from them as well. And we use that information to create better trainings for our community. We also use these to create programming. So we use monthly reports if we have a lot of mentors or mentees saying, hey, I'm pre-med and I'm really struggling to understand what my path is. Okay, well then we're going to put together a pre-health seminar for y'all. So we use these for a lot of reasons, but really it's again to continue to support you. Next slide. Okay. So here's kind of the nitty gritty, and here's what most people really are interested in. So our mentor and mentees are paired based on major school academic goals, mentoring goals, and previous university and college for transfer students. So the one thing I want to highlight here is the major in school. So academics does tend to be, we are in academic affairs after all, tends to be our gear for this program. That's not always possible. So we do our absolute best, but there's sometimes a mismatch, right? We have 50 mentees who are pre-health and 75 mentors who are pre-health. And so we do work with mentors and mentees to find the right match if we're not able to do that based on major in school. And that is going to be utilizing other factors like interests and future goals. So what you want to do after UT Dallas and that kind of stuff. Generally, the idea is that you're going to meet 2 times a month in person, but how you meet is very flexible. So this year, obviously, this looks a little bit different, but so maybe instead of in person, it should just say live. So meeting on Teams or Skype or Snapchat, or I don't know if you can meet with people on TikTok. I don't know if that's a thing because I'm old, but if you can do that. If you want to play games together, like video games, that's totally fine. But so it's very flexible in how you all meet, but the expectation is touching base 2 times a month. And We don't really put time limits on that because we think, if you're just checking in and you're live and you're able to connect, that's going to be good enough. Next slide. Okay, and through that, we also want to support you in those meetings. And so another way that you can get meetings done are through our on-campus events. So we have been able to adapt to the virtual environment, much like Derek and everybody in Cultural Scholars has with events, like this event, for example. And so we've adapted some of these, but this is what a more normal year would look like. So we do some on-campus events only for our group. So we do a kickoff event, which is a really big event we host in the visitor center normally. We have board games, we have music, we have giveaways, we give swag to everybody. We have monthly meals. So every month we just feed you. We feed you and your mentee. You come and grab a box lunch or something from Chartwell's or whatever we have that week or that month. And so we want to support, again, you and your mentee meeting. And so we have found nothing makes people come together quite like food. Undergraduate Research Lunch and Learn is another example of events that we do, again, to support mentors and mentees in their aspirations at UTD, but also able to learn together. We also do some off-campus stuff. So the Transfer Mentor program has been to Free Play Arcade, which is an arcade in Richardson. We have gone to the Fort Worth Art Museum. We do the whole thing. We get your tickets, we get the bus, we get all the stuff. And so there are a lot of really cool ways to engage with your mentee and with the transfer and freshman mentor programs should you become a mentor. Next. Okay. So here is how you check all the boxes. This is how you are a mentor in the freshman or transfer mentor programs. So we do an in-person, I feel like everything here, I feel like I need to, the asterisk, right, is that we don't know what fall looks like exactly, but the hope springs eternal that we are going to be able to do these things in person like we have, or some variation, but closer to that. So you attend an in-person / live training the week before school begins in August. So these are usually a little bit longer, but this is when you start to get to meet your community, right? Your community of mentors, the people who you're going to be going through this with for the next academic year, but also we get to meet you. And we won't get to see the whole group very often. And so this is a really great time to come introduce yourself to us so we can get to know you a little bit better. And when we see you in our monthly meetings, which we'll talk about in just a second, we'll already know your face. Meet with your mentee 2 times a month in person / live. Communicate regularly, including initiating communication with your mentee. So whenever you are not meeting with your mentee, you still are somewhat expected to, keep in touch in some way. So if that's just a text, maybe every Monday, hey, what you got going on this week? Do you need any help? Et cetera, et cetera. Just making sure that you're checking in with them and then also responding to their texts as well, or calls or emails or whatever the situation that works best for you as a pair. Complete the monthly reports for staff. So we have a report every month, September, October, November, and then February, March, and April. And these are pretty short. They're only 5 to 10 minutes, and they're pre-made surveys. Attend a monthly meeting with staff and other mentors. So we do these, as the name would suggest, monthly. So one time per month, you're going to have a meeting. And this is where we're going to do a little bit of training, but also, again, really connecting to that community of mentors. We talk about how your experiences are going, challenges you're experiencing, successes you're experiencing with your mentees. And these are also every long month of the semester. So September, October, November, and then February, March, and April. And then providing feedback through the end of semester evaluations to improve the program. So these are usually lumped in with those monthly reports. They're all one big thing. And you're just asked to provide that at the end of the semester. Freshman mentor program. So this is a big difference between the freshman and transfer mentor program, is that the freshman mentor program has a course that is associated with it. It is 0 credit hour, so you don't pay anything as a mentor to enroll in that course, and it'll show up on your transcript, and it's super nice and fancy, and it says like leadership and development, UNIV 2074 or whatever year you are, because if you mentor for us for more than 1 year, the course number actually changes because you get a little bit more advanced. But anyway, it's a very nice on your transcript, but you do have to make sure you're completing all of your meetings and reports to receive that credit. So it's a credit, no credit course. And if you have questions about that, feel free to email us. But the website clarifies that a little bit. And then also, we're happy to answer any specific questions you have about that as well at the end. Next slide. Okay, so maybe, we've gone through the check boxes. You're an amazing mentor. You're doing all the things. You're attending trainings and meetings and submitting your reports, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of the day, what does that look like for our mentors? So in addition to fancy t-shirts and cords and transcript notations and all that stuff, 95% of our mentors reported that it made them a stronger leader on campus. So pursuing other leadership, having more confidence to pursue other leadership opportunities. 92% of mentors reported that the program made them feel more connected to UTD. I think this is for a lot of reasons, right? You are getting to know more people through those mentor monthly meetings, through transfer freshman mentor program events. But also, more about UTD. We do really extensive resource training, so you can know resources to refer your mentees to. And so walking away feeling like you belong more at UTD is a great benefit. 85% of mentors reported that being part of the program contributed to their campus legacy. So our mentors have gone off to do wonderful, successful, amazing things, but they feel like they were able to leave their mark on UTD through the freshman and transfer mentor programs. And then 87% of mentees reported their mentor made their first semester at UT Dallas more successful. And that is a wonderful feeling, just a wonderful feeling to know that you were able to really impact somebody else's experience at UTD and make them feel like they belong here as part of our Comet family. Next slide. All right, and I'm passing it off to Rebecca.
Hello, I'm back. Good job, Hilary. So now we have learned over the years that students listen better to other students. That's partially why we want our program to be one-to-one mentoring, peer mentoring program. So we would like to invite some of our students who have been in the programs to share their experience with you all. So I'm going to do a guided little panel, and I'm going to ask the three of our people to stick around for the Q&A at the end. But we have Arlene, who was a mentee and is currently a mentor in the Transfer Mentor program. And then Robert, who showed us his shirt, who's on the screen, has been a mentor the past 2 years. And then Kasia was a mentee in the program and then has been in as a second-year mentor. So can the three of y'all turn on your screens and let me pull up my questions. Hello. Yay, we're all here. Okay. So I'll kick off with the first question. And Arlene, if you would like to start, and then the three of y'all can just kind of go around the circle. Tell us about yourself. What's your major? Where are you from? What are some initial concerns or worries that you had when you were coming into UT Dallas, whether as a transfer student or as an incoming freshman?
Well, hello. Hi, Rebecca. And hello, everyone. My name is Arlene. My I'm a political science major. It's my last semester, I'm a senior, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. So one of my initial concerns I had coming into UTD was like, honestly, just if I was going to make friends on campus, because I came previously from UNT. So the environment in UNT versus UT is completely different. Like there's not a ton of transfer students at UNT, and it's like everyone pretty much lives on campus. UTD is more of a commuter school, tons of transfer students. People are super independent. It was a transition. But I think what helped me coming to UTD, or what eased my worry, was just being open, because I always thought UTD was a nerdy school until I got here. And I was like, okay, everyone's really cool and really nice. You just have to be open-minded and put yourself out there to new possibilities and just talk to people in your class. So one of my concerns was, am I going to make friends as a transfer student, considering that, I'm coming in as a junior in a new school, I'm driving back and forth from home. So my time isn't going to be solely on campus. I'm going to be split. I was a busy person when we were like on campus. So yeah, that was my big concern.
I can go next. So hello everyone, my name is Robert Pinter and I'm currently a junior at UTD and I'm double majoring in biology and healthcare studies. I am from Midland, Texas, about 4 or 5 hours west of Dallas, but I actually moved to Cedar Hill, which is about an hour south of here from Richardson. And I think one of my concerns about UTD and my first year coming to here was if I was going to be successful enough and was I going to like fit in. And let me tell you, fitting in was not the problem as soon as I came to UTD because there was a lot of diversity and like Arlene said about being open-minded. There's a lot of open-minded people here just because of our diversity. There's so much going on, so many things to learn about other people, their culture, their values. But being successful was, I guess, a big part of my concerns just because I like to succeed and I like to just do my best. But I think there's a lot of resources here on campus that helped me be successful, whether that was the Student Success Center, the Freshman Mentor Program with meeting new friends, being able to just be able to talk to people. And I think that's what one of the freshman mentor programs allowed me to do was make new friends, just because you see like new faces every other time. Like Hilary said earlier, there's like 400 of us. It's just a freshman mentor program. There's now 100 of the transfer mentor programs. So I think these programs really help, and there's a lot of resources on campus that help you to help you come and fit in and solve your problems at UTD.
Hi everyone. Thanks Robert for that. My name is Kasia Benaputi. I'm a junior information technology and systems major. I'm currently in Frisco, Texas, so it's like 20 to 30 minutes away from campus, but like 30 minutes north of Dallas. So like one of the main concerns that I had was just being able to meet new people and make new friends, and also finding resources that will allow me to be successful in my major. Because like by nature, I'm actually a very introverted person. So in high school, I would always hang around with the same group of people every day. So like making new friends and approaching new people has always been a challenge for me. Um, so that was what I was like really worried about, especially like the first few weeks of being on campus. And starting out, I was a finance major, so I was really worried that I would have to like join a bunch of organizations to really get to know more about my major. And the main problem that I had was just balancing classes and organizations. Like I was in a rush to join all these organizations, and um, doing that actually made me put more focus towards those organizations and put less focus on my classes, which is kind of why I slipped up a little bit my first semester. Um, but definitely the freshman mentor program has allowed me to find those resources, meet new people, feel comfortable talking to new people as well. And my mentor has definitely done a great job of guiding me towards the right direction and making me feel comfortable on campus. It was definitely a struggle for the first few weeks, but it was also it took me time for me to open up to my mentor itself, because I just wasn't comfortable sharing everything that I was concerned with. But slowly and it was a very slow process, but I was able to open up, and the mentor program has really changed my life a lot. I'm actually more confident in speaking with new people. I approach new people very easily now, and have a very clear sense of what I want to do in life. So the mentor program definitely changed my life in those aspects.
Yay. I'm gonna stay off camera just so we can focus on y'all. But Kasia, I feel like you were kind of heading this way anyways. We can go backwards this time. For this next question, what was your primary motivation from I know some of you guys were mentees in the program, so what motivated each of you to become mentors in the program? And what were you hoping to gain as a mentor in the program? Kasia, you go first.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like the main motivation was just meeting new people, because I honestly felt that I didn't really want to hang around the same group of people that I did in high school, because I wanted to see if there was anyone out there that had the same interests as me. Like for example, like I'm a big movie guy, and none of my other friends are as big as a movie guy as I am. So like I really thought that maybe the mentor program allowed me to meet anyone who's as big as a movie guy as I am, or just anyone that had like the same interests as I did. So that was probably one of the main motivations that I had in joining the mentor program. And also, I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to be, I wasn't going to be familiar with all the resources that UTD had to offer. So I felt that someone being there to help me guide me in the right direction and point me to those correct resources was something that I needed. So that's why I felt that joining the mentor program would definitely help. Because change for me is challenging, but I like change. So I need someone there to help me and guide me and get adjusted quickly to change. So I felt that the mentor program was the right thing to join. And so yeah, that was essentially what I was trying to gain. So just new relationships and just being comfortable and being able to transition smoothly from high school to college.
So, my primary motivation to joining the mentor program. So, I actually did not join the freshman mentor program as a mentee. I actually joined my sophomore year as a mentor. And my primary motivation was to actually help freshmen be able to transition into their first year because of the struggles that I may have gone through. I think it's important to have someone be able to be there for you, just because it's a lot nicer to be able to have someone hold your hand for a little while and be able to guide you, ask any questions, because you may be nervous to ask some other random people. And honestly, you're kind of like their first friend, like low key, to be able to just talk to them, hang out with them, make them feel comfortable, ask them, just check up on them, because even now I still have people check up on me, and I'm a junior. I have lots of friends, I would say, but it's just nice to have someone check up on you. And so I guess what I was hoping to gain from this was just experience and leadership, and just being able to have like extra people to see, just have new friends. I'm a pretty talkative person. I would say that Kasia could probably agree to that. So I think that's what I hoped to gain from that, just new friends and new faces.
So my primary motivation in joining the transfer mentor program was honestly just how rewarding it was for me when I joined as a mentee. Um, I met one of my closest friends through this program who honestly, even though I'm a senior, she's still my mentor. She still checks up on me, similar to Vincent, what Vincent said. But also, I wanted to impact someone's impact someone's life who is transferring to UTD in a way that would benefit them, because I know when I transferred here, like there's so many resources that are available to you as a student that you just don't take advantage of. Like I recently used the writing center, or no, the career center. I went to the career center and I did some resume building stuff, and I was like, I can't believe this is like free. This is so useful, and a lot of people don't know that. So they're going along the semester not using these resources that could really help them. So being able to help my mentee in that way is really rewarding for both of us, because I'm helping her, and she's able to elevate her experience at UTD because she's using like resources and also leaning on to me for like help in any way, and I'm always willing to help. So just being able to having that relationship is really important. as well as, being able to assist in any way possible. Because, like, everybody knows that feeling of coming to a new school or just a new experience and not really having anyone. And it can be really discomforting. So it's really nice to, like Rebecca, or like Hillary said earlier, like leaving a legacy on campus, of helping. It's really rewarding. And what I was hoping to gain, leadership, honestly, leadership and friendships as well.
Thank you. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to just do one more question in the essence of time. And one of the questions is bolded. Maybe we can do another one. I want to do all of them because they're great questions, but okay. Tell us about your mentor-mentee relationship this year, and kind of share with students about how, we've moved online. So how has that impacted your experience, and what did your mentee mean to you this year? Or how do you feel like you were able to help your mentee through this time in a virtual environment? So Robert, how about you go first this time?
Alrighty. So it's definitely been tough. In person, it was definitely a lot easier just to go up, like, hey, do you want to go meet up here? Blah, 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 blah. It's a lot easier to hold a conversation in person, but with it being online, it's been pretty tough because, I'm personally kind of tired of being online almost all the time, and I'm sure my mentee is also. So I guess it's really hard just to hold a conversation online, and I'm very people oriented, so I have to feel like I have to be face to face with someone. But other than that, I think it's been really good. I try to check up on my mentee every once in a while, just text them or call them and be like, hey, like, how's everything going? Just something simple, just makes their day. I know whenever someone texts me how I'm doing, it makes my day. So I figured it might be the same for my mentee. But my mentee means a lot to me because at least I know that I have someone to talk to and he has someone to talk to. So it's just another friend to hold onto during this pandemic.
I can go next. So the first year that I had a mentee, when we were in person, it was very nice because obviously it was in person and like we could attend all different kinds of events. Like I would text him and he would be on campus, and then we would just go to some event and attend it. And we would also like have an opportunity to talk in like face to face, and really get to know each other more. So attending all those, especially like the monthly meals that staff was talking about earlier, it really was a time to just sit down, eat some nice food, and just really get to know each other more. And that's definitely something that I really miss this time. Now that we're all now that we're all virtual. Like currently, my mentee and I, we're not really able to like, attend any in-person events. And also, I felt like although the program is doing a very great job of trying to get the mentors and mentees to engage, it's just more difficult now because everyone has different schedules, everyone has different commitments that may come up that they probably wouldn't have come up in a like in-person setting. So it's much more challenging this time around, and that's something that I really wish would have changed. But I'm still doing my best to keep my mentee engaged. I'm checking up on him, like every month, and at least like twice a month, making sure that he's doing all okay. And obviously, every mentee has different things that they want from a mentor. So like my first year, my mentee really wanted someone to just talk to. Basically, he really wanted a friend from this mentor and mentee relationship. But currently, my mentee now, he really wants someone who can guide them in the right direction, and it really helps because he's also the same major as me. So anything so he asks questions that I can answer very easily, especially like related to our careers and anything related to like information technology organizations and stuff like that. And that's really what he wants from this relationship. So I think one of the main other challenges is that different mentees want different things. So it's going to take a while to adjust to their priorities. And some mentees may not be as open to communicating with you as much as you want them to, because like it gets some, like my mentee right now, it takes a little bit of pushing to get him to talk a little bit more, especially about himself. It's really about like what he wants from this relationship is just, how he can focus on classes and how like he can get his career on track. And it's nothing, he doesn't really want anything personal from this relationship. So I mean, like I said before, like mentees want different things. But one of the main challenges is just the switch from in person to virtual. So that's what I've noticed from the relationship last year to the relationship now. So yeah.
I've had a very similar experience, similar to Kasia. My mentee is very independent, so she doesn't really need much of my help. But that being said, I still make it a routine to check up on her and make sure that, she's doing good mentally with school or whether that's her personal life. But yeah, she's extremely independent. But that's kind of how I was as a mentee. You kind of figure things out as you go. But also in the virtual environment, it's a bit harder to connect because everyone is just so busy and has like a million things on their plate. So reaching out, you tend to maybe not get a reply or get a very late reply, and you just have to not take it personal because we're all very, very busy. So I usually just do a follow-up text or like a double text just to make sure, she knows that I'm here for her, and we're in this together because UTD is an academically hard school. So sometimes I go MIA as well. But no, I would say my mentee is definitely more concerned with professional development and, like getting her career on track, and making sure she gets the best grades. So if she ever needs help with like what professor to take or where to go for this resource, I'll help her in that sense. But as far as like a personal relationship, we don't really have that. Like as Kasia said, we like different mentees want different things, and that's totally fine, So I would say that's where we're at right now.
All right. And I think just to touch kind of on what you guys have been saying is we as staff are also experiencing the difficulties of being online and are over being on our computers. So as a whole, for staff, we know life happens. So we don't expect, like Hilary said earlier, we don't expect students to come in and know everything. We don't expect students to come in and be like, oh, I've never done virtual mentoring before. I got it all figured out. We're all figuring it out together. So, and we understand that it's difficult because we can see and we can tell. Okay, I would like you each to say in one concise sentence, what would you say to someone who is considering joining the program? What advice would you offer? Arlene, you can go first.
I knew I was going to go first. But okay, so in one concise sentence, I would say be open-minded to different opportunities and also take care of yourself, because it's important to take care of your well-being.
Cheating, but I'll allow it. A good punctuation. Robert?
Oof. I would just say keep in mind of the experiences and things that you've gone through, so that way you can learn from your own mistakes. So that way you can try to help and make sure that others don't make the same mistakes that you do.
Awesome. Kasia?
I would just say be happy in whatever you do. I mean, yeah, that's it. Because I mean, there's really don't do anything out of will. Just do what your heart desires. Just do anything that your heart desires. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I love that. But also remembering sometimes the things that we love. Like I would say I love mentoring, but sometimes mentoring is hard. And we talk about in the program, and you guys have kind of mentioned sometimes mentoring is not convenient, and you reach out to your mentee and they don't reach it back out, or you may have a mentee that always talks to you all the time and you're like, I need space, or you have the perfect mentor, or we always think we're going to come in and have the perfect mentee, and that's not always the case. So know that the things you love can also be difficult. So thank you guys for sharing. I'm going to ask you guys to stick around as we talk a little bit more about the application process. Y'all can turn off your cameras for now if you want. But stick around for the Q&A in case anyone has any questions for y'all. So I'm just going to move into how to be a mentor and how to apply. This is what is outlined on our websites. We ask that you have at least a 3.0 GPA to apply. I believe that's a cumulative GPA. We ask that you've had at least one full year at UT Dallas, and that you would be enrolled for courses next year for fall 2021 and spring 2022. So if you're unsure of your qualifications, like the little asterisk says in the corner, you can email us. Those are our email addresses. For the freshman mentor, remember it's one freshman. It's not many freshmen when you apply or when you email us. So we will send out an application. We'll make sure to share it with Derek, but we'll also be sending out information to all eligible students about the application. It's a Qualtrics form that you just fill out. And then we ask that you submit 2 professional or academic references. This could be your boss, this could be a professor, this could be someone you shadow. Just don't have it be your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your best friend or your mom, which people have actually tried to do. So someone that can speak to your ability to be a good mentor, someone that knows you. And then we also ask that you would do a 5 to 15 minute phone interview. And once you apply, an email will be sent to your references. You put your references on your application on the Qualtrics form. They get an email about filling out a Qualtrics form for you, and then you also get sent over to the website to book an interview with someone on staff, which would be me or Hilary Freeman or Hillary Campbell, our boss, or yes, so someone on our staff will interview with you. The timeline, so for now, our timeline, the deadline is May 1st. We haven't sent out any information yet to anyone. You're our first people to get some information about the application process. So we hope to have everyone interviewed and vetted and everything done by May 1st. That date is maybe subject to change, but we are very good at communicating, at least I think so, about if things change. And so hopefully if you apply, you would know by the end of the spring semester or early summer. And then we start pairing our students. We pair you by hand. So it's a big project that staff undertakes. And then we let you know before school starts who your mentee would be. And then we start the semester with a mandatory training in mid-August, usually right before school starts or during that first week of school. So that's a quick overview of what we go through or what we look for. So now is the time to open up the floor for questions. You can ask in general as a whole. You can ask staff, you can ask the students a specific question. But if you have a question, you can raise your hand and then I will call on you like we're in class. Anybody have any questions? I guess we just did a perfect job. Well, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Derek. He knows how to find us. But also you can email us at these email addresses, freshmanmentor@utdallas.edu or transfermentor@utdallas.edu. And if you forget what this program is called, just email Derek and be like, what was that program? I want to join, and he'll connect you with us. So I guess since we don't have any questions, I'll pass it back to Derek.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for a great presentation. I know we've got some people in the audience who I think will make great mentors. Yes, you will need a reference. For those of you that know me, I am happy to provide that for you if we talk about it. But yeah, I think there'll be folks here that'll be great mentors, and people watching this recording, you will be a great mentor too. You should check it out. Well, thank you both so much for this great presentation. Thanks for all the students for joining us. Thank you to the mentors that joined us and shared your experience. Everyone, please have a safe and restful spring break, and we'll look forward to tackling the rest of the semester with you all. Until then, do apply for the Freshman Mentor Program and or the Transfer Mentor Program, depending on which program you're interested in applying for. Until then, take care, everybody.